In this video, I want to have a look at quadratic inequalities. So to solve a quadratic inequality, the first thing we're going to do is move everything to one side of the inequality sign, and then we're going to factorize, and then we're going to use a quick sketch to help us solve the inequality. So let's have a look at some examples. Our first one is if we've got x squared is greater than or equal to 6x plus 7. So it's a quadratic because of that squared term there. Like we said, the first thing we're going to do is move everything to the left-hand side of that equation. So we're going to subtract 6x and subtract 7. So we'll have x squared minus 6x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 0. Now we're going to factorize this side. So we're going to end up with two sets of brackets. We need two numbers that multiply together to give minus 7 and then add together to give minus 6. So that would be minus 7 and positive 1. And that's all greater than or equal to 0. So if we have a look at this left-hand side, we know that our x-intercepts are going to be x equals 7 and x equals minus 1. So there are our intercepts. So we're going to use those intercepts to sketch this graph. So that's 7, that's minus 1. So our parabola, because we know it's concave up, it's going to come down here and up through this one. All right. Now we want the inequality is greater than or equal to 0. So this parabola is greater than or equal to 0 when it's above the x-axis. So in this region and in this one over here as well. And it's equal to 0 exactly at those roots. So our final solution to that would be that x squared is greater than or equal to 6x plus 7 when x is less than or equal to minus 1, or when x is greater than or equal to 7. So that's our final answer. So any values less than or equal to 1 or greater than or equal to 7 will satisfy that inequality. Our second example, we've got the inequality 9 minus x squared is greater than 0. So this time everything is already over the left-hand side, so we just need to start by factorizing that. Now this is the difference of two squares because 9 is equivalent to 3 squared. So this would give us 3 plus x and 3 minus x is greater than 0. So solving those two things, that means our intercepts, our x-intercepts, are x equals 3 and x equals minus 3. We also know because that x squared term has a negative in front of it, that our parabola is going to be concave down. So if we sketch that, we've got x-intercepts of 3 and minus 3, and we know it's concave down, so it's going to come up like this. All right, and we want when that parabola is greater than 0, so that's going to be not at those points, but it is going to be everything between there where that parabola is above the x-axis. So our solution then is going to be that x has to be less than 3 and greater than minus 3. So anything within that region will satisfy that inequality. So those are a few examples of quadratic inequalities.